As per the internet, I am juicy. And since I became a pro natural athlete from the WNBF, it has become even more something that I'm accused of. And yet, I'm natural. So why would people think I'm juicing when I'm not? The problem is about fake natties. Fake natties are people that are using steroids but claim natural. And the thing is that their physique is great, but not so great that it just becomes blatant for the uneducated eye that it is not natural. In this video, I'm going to show you and explain to you how to spot fake naturals and also determine what is naturally achievable and what isn't. Let's go. As a pro natural athlete, I have been training for 13 years, and prior to that, I did a shit ton of sport. Combat sport, swimming, and running track field. So I have a huge sport basis, and then I trained more than a decade on it. So I have a pretty good physique. But it is not something that is so shocking when you know all the work and all the time that I had to put in. So the first thing we need to talk about is why some people would say that I am not natural, and why they would think that some guys that are actually not natural would be. And that is that nowadays in the digital age, it is extremely easy to present yourself in a capacity that is definitely making you look amazing. Thanks to social media, thanks to specific lightnings, effects, angles, maybe post-prod edit, like filters, photoshopping, etc. It is very, very easy for you now to just highlight your physique as best as you can, while in the normal day-to-day life, you just look quite average, right? A pump change everything, good night change everything, just being quite lean will also make you appear bigger on screen. So yeah, it is something that nowadays is extremely hard to coach because there is a difference between what you see on the screen and what is actually. Then we talk about the genetics. Some guys just have like balloon-like muscle, like very round muscle. Some guys have very puppy muscle. Some guys are looking extremely lean. They have a lot of vascularization, a lot of veins. So who's natty, who is not? It's pretty, sometimes hard to tell and quite complex. The first thing you need to talk about when trying to determine if someone is natty or not is to talk about the FFMI. I do not like the FFMI. It's not something that is helping, I think, long-term anyone, but it is a quite good index for today's video. FFMI is basically something that has been created to check what kind of measure you can access as natural and what is becoming more and more suspicious or even totally not possible naturally. And so when you have a FFMI of 22 or less, you basically are almost 100% natural, or as I like to say, naturally achievable. When you are around 25, 26, it becomes suspicious. Some guys, naturally, will be able to reach it. Some never will. Okay? It's both a thing about genetic and a patience thing. You have to have a genetic to get there, and you also have to train long enough to get there. But it's suspicious because some guys will never be able to reach it naturally. Or at least that's what I've been concluded from that, and I technically disagree, but that's for another video. And then we have FFMI of like 29, 30, and it's like genetic freaks that are natural would be able to do it, but it's 1 in a billion. Let's not lie about the thing. It's 1 in a billion genetic freaks exist, yes, but it's 1 in a billion. Most of us, 99% of us, 99.9% of us actually, will not be able to do it without steroids. So someone with a FMI of 30 is most likely using steroids, period. Then we can talk about observable patterns, right? Apart of the lies, there are specific signs, side effects of steroids that you can actually see with your own eyes. The first thing is very disproportionate muscle. Steroids are, most of the time, androgenic derivatives, so basically almost like testosterone, and they will have an impact on your muscle based on the number or the density of androgen receptors, where actually the testosterone or any androgen hormone can go and do its thing. There is a high density of androgen receptors into the chest, especially the upper chest, the neck, the traps, especially the upper traps, the delt, and the biceps. When you have a guy who is quite young, like 20 something, and out of nowhere, he got a fit, fucking amazing physique, and the bulk of the development of his muscle is this spot, it's real. It's real, especially there is nothing like specifically targeting or extremely smart about his training regarding this zone. Like if a guy has a fit neck, but he's not actually training his neck, yeah, that's okay, that's weird. If a guy has bulgy huge strap, he's not deadlifting heavy, he's not able to shrug heavy, that's weird. If a guy has balloon-like delt, but he's using puny weight on laterals, rear dead flies, he's not very strong on OHP or incline, that's yet again quite strange. And same thing for the upper chest. You have guys that are doing just flat bench, decline bench, some flies, some dips. So nothing technically biasing as much as possible the upper chest. And it's like a fucking cushion, right? That's weird. These kind of things are quite off-putting. Then we can talk about the vascularity and the skin quality. When you have persistent acne, especially on the back, when you have oily skin, reddish skin or orange at like specific spot, like around the nose or like here on throat or even in middle of the chest, but just specifically here. That's weird also, because you're supposed to have like a pretty even muscle tone and a pretty even skin tone. So when this thing gets derailed, it means there is a hormonal imbalance. And if there is a hormonal imbalance, strange. As for vascularity, it's normal to have veins, and if you are lean enough and have muscles that are thick enough, the veins are going to pop out more. But you're not supposed to have veins that really look like arteries, and you're not supposed to have a full panel of veins absolutely everywhere, just popping out like that when you're at rest. It's not normal. So yet again, side effects of steroids that are quite known. When you have someone that, chain a lot of these points, it starts to get suspicious. The third point, I kind of spoiled it, is the muscle tone. When someone has a muscle tone that looks like it's hard all the time, like basically like you're squeezing your muscle in your chest, the guy is just like that 24/7, that's also something that is weird, because the muscle tone is a direct byproduct of your hormonal profile, your genetic, and your training. So for the genetic, self-explanatory, some people have harder muscle than some others. For the hormonal profile, you have receptors to your tendons as well. And so if there is too much androgen and not enough estrogen, for example, your tendons get tighter and you also lose mobility, or at least flexibility, and you have to work it even more because the muscle tone increase. So when someone has really hard looking, like silicone-like muscle, it's weird. Some guys that are natural have the exact same look. That's why it's so hard to guess, because a natural was enough muscle mass and that will get lean enough, even shredded, I'm talking 7% or below, it will have this kind of same plastic look effect on your skin. It's because there is literally no body fat. But the thing is that the natural will not be able to sustain it for more than a few months. And then, the health implications are quite serious, for real. If a guy is like year round with this kind of condition and muscle tone, same. It's strange. It's not supposed to happen like that. Now, for the hair and the body hair, there is an increase in body hair density, so your beard grows more and looks thicker, your body hair as well. Even body hair in more unpleasant area, like in the back, for example, or like weird spot. And if there is any kind of balding genetic into your family, like if you have men that are balding and you're predisposed to it, it will also accelerate everything. So yet again, if you have a guy who is 25, he looks older, he has a fucking huge lumberjack beard, and he's starting to bald, yet again, quite suspicious. Last but not least, the training itself. If the training does not make any sense, but they're making gains, that's weird. The diet also, if they are eating a shit ton and they stay lean, that's, that's off-putting. If they are on the reverse, they're barely eating and yet they maintain a shit ton of muscle mass and strength, same again, that's not supposed to happen. And also the training itself, it's like, if they train every day, they just seem to be just fine. That's weird. You're supposed to need rest day as natural. If you train hard enough, you also have to recover. You cannot train every day and not risk any kind of overuse problem or under recovery or just stagnation. You need your rest, That's why most people's Thai coach will train like 3 or 4 times per week. A very specific profile will be able to train 5 times, but that's limited. You need your rest. And so when a guy is training 6-7 days per week, sometimes multiple times per week, recover no problem, the program is trash, the diet is trash, and the guy is just looking like a Greek god, you know. It's always the same thing, you know. It's like there is a scaling, you know, and you're racking points. The more points you have, the more likely it's like the guy is not natural. And the less points you have, the more likely the guy is natural. Speaking of which, what would be a good gauge or a good example of something that is definitely natural and what is quite suspicious and what is definitely not natural? So for guys that are definitely natural, you have guys that basically have pretty athletic and lean physique, but they're not that big. You know, they can be lean, they can look good, but there is nothing specific that will make you think, oh, the guy is juicing. Does not mean he's not juicing, but there is not much to let you think he's actually juicing. So that's the first thing. Or the guy is looking incredible. I'm thinking about Alberto Nunes and Jeff Albert, for example, but everything checks out. To take back this example, Alberto Nunes and Jeff Albert have been training for 20 to 30 years. After training for 20 to 30 years, if you do not look like something out of a comic book, give me back my money, you know? Especially when you go and get so intense and so serious and dedicated about it that you even make it your career. Like, they are pro natural athletes that have been tested several times. They did a shit ton of competition and season. They have been training for so long, and the physique barely moved in terms of like sheer size. And the only things that improved were weak point, the overall flow, the overall symmetry, and the muscle maturity. But the guys themselves, they look fucking fantastic. And many people will say, oh, that's not possible. But everything checks out because the progression is looking quite good. There is no bump into the progression. There is no immediate upgrade into the physique. There is a logic. There is nothing that is too overdeveloped compared to the other muscle. And there is all the things that I told you about, you know, the muscle tone, etc. When they are lean, they look incredible. When they are off season, they look normal. I don't see how they would not be natural. Okay? Then we have the guys that are quite suspicious. So guys that are quite suspicious, I think notably the physiques of guys like Chris Hemsworth in Thor and Chris Evans in Captain America, for example, or even Hugh Jackman in Wolverine. These are suspicious because, first and foremost, these guys are actors. They are supposed to film and shoot 16 to 20 hours per day, every day, when they are filming for something. And they barely have a few weeks or a few months to prepare for a role, and then they have to maintain the shape. Sometimes, yes, they can just be in costume, so they do not have to be actually in top tier shape, but when there is like shirtless scene, they have to be. Explain to me how a guy who is not a bodybuilder, who is not someone that is training year in, year out, finish with a physique that muscle tone wise, skin wise, overall leanness, and, you know, yet again, the very 3D muscle effect, especially on the yoke area, is able to do this and only prepare it in like 4 months. You would be thinking, okay, yeah, but it's his job. He's being paid to do so. Okay, well, you know what? Quit your job or take vacation. For 4 months, you're going to train every day like a maniac, the hardest you can. You will eat clean, chicken, broccoli, rice, every fucking meal. Okay, you will eat a shit ton, and you will do all your cardio, and you will sleep 10 hours per night. Okay, and come back in 4 months and let me know how you look. And then compare yourself to the guy, and you'll see. You'll see. And the guy has not been training his whole life, and the guy is in 40s. Same thing for a guy like Dwayne Johnson, especially in Black Adam. You just put him on stage with a posing trunk, he's basically a bodybuilder. And for Chris Hemsworth, look at him in Thor Ragnarok. Sure, there is the editing, sure, there is the scenes, sure, there is like possibly the pump pre-shot and the preparation to look amazing. And as I said, on screen, you always look bigger or more impressive when you're lean than what you already are truly in real life. But come on. Come on, guys. If you look at him and you look at other actors that have admitted for steroid use or TRT usage, at some point you have to realize that, okay, the guy, maybe you like him, maybe he's likable, maybe you like his role, maybe he's a good actor. He's lying, okay? And the physique, technically speaking, is worse than the guys that I told you about, like Alberto Nunes and Jeff Albert, especially leg and back-wise, but they did that in 4 months. And the other guys I'm talking about have been training for 20 to 30 years. Can you imagine? Do it, you'll see. So for me, these things are achievable naturally in terms of like shape, but the means and how they did it is suspicious. It's not supposed to be that way. If it was that easy, they would have much more guys that are lean and jacked in the gym. Period. And then finally, the guys that are unlikely natural are the guys that have yet again, the FFMI that is, above all charts, 3D muscles that are extremely big, extremely thick, competitive athletes that have a pro card, like in BB, for example. Some guys are extreme genetic freaks and are able to get the IFBB pro card Natty, but then they open the juice. And when you look at the absolute top best bodybuilder in the world, like let's say the top 50, like open, classic, 212, men's physique, they are all juicing, okay? These are genetic freak for bodybuilding training that are all juicing and responding well to a juice, okay? And I'm taking bodybuilding as an example, but you take football, you take soccer, you take rugby, you take any sport, UFC, MMA, boxing, whatever. All of them are genetic freak for their sport plus juicing. Physique-wise, these bodybuilders I just talked about, there is no way you do this naturally. There is just no way. It's not about the supplement. It's not about the secret exercise, the secret training split. You just can't do it naturally. You need a specific hormonal profile. You need a specific endocrine system to do this, and you cannot have it naturally. That's it. And the whole problem with that, okay, this video, this whole thing is that the problem is about fake naturals. It's fake natty. I personally have no problem with guys that are using steroids, and I don't think you should have problem with them as well, because as long as they do it for themselves, as long as they are open and honest about it, I don't see much reason, to hate them or like despise them or whatever. They're just doing their thing, okay? Might not be the smartest idea, but they are doing their thing, The problem is that when you are taking juice and then you say to young gullible men that, you're just natural, just buy my $400 of sub or take my $800 coaching, and you will be like me, now there is a problem. Also, when you lie about how you obtain your physique and what you're doing to maintain it, that's yet again something that is not supposed to happen. It is just being dishonest, and that's why this video is about these guys, like people that use steroids, most of them, I don't have a problem with them. It's just human being, just like you. They just decided to hop on the juice because they have reasons, right? But they're not lying about it. And we need honesty into this industry more than ever, because now we have the AI, we have the post-prod, we have the filters, we have all this shit. And sometimes that I personally use as well, because, it's the name of the game now. Hate the game, not the player. But juicing and telling that you're natural, come on. No. Now that you know all of that, let's circle back and check all these points that I've talked about and apply them to me, since apparently I'm not natural. Let's go. So as you know, I'm natural. I've been training for 13 years. I'm 30. Before training, I have a huge sport background. My strength is either elite or advanced, or late intermediate for very few specific lift. But yeah, no, elite. Elite or advanced, yeah. The muscle mass that I have is quite correlated to the strength that I have. Point by point, with your career, I'm turning my neck directly, and it's not like it's thick out of a reason. For the traps, I am able to shred 400 kilograms for reps, so of course they're going to be big. But even then, it's not like comically big. I'm not looking like fucking juggernaut. Upper chest wise, it's starting to get better because I'm actually demolishing it. It's actually a huge focus on mine right now. So the fact that it looks okay, I'm actually glad, because trust me, I'm training it hard. But I don't think it's like disproportionate. You can tell me in the comment, of course. For the delt, I'm able to do OHP with 2 plates for reps. So I hope they're looking okay. But I do not have like a real delt that look like an implant. So technically speaking, I think I look natural. Lateral raises wise, I can use 24, 26 kilogram pretty strict, high reps. I'm not playing with like 10 kilogram dumbbells. And again, I think it's quite correlated to the overall size. And for my arms, currently they are like 44.5, 45. At the highest and biggest, they are 46 when I'm like deep in the bulk. So like 18 inches. I'm 5'9", 174 centimeter. I've been training for 13 years. Biceps were a weak point. Triceps were okay. I've been trashing them for years. I hope they look okay with everything that I've done for them. So yet again, I don't think like there is something like off-putting with my physique. I know I can look good, maybe too good for some, but I don't think there is something specific that could be showing you that I'm juicing, It's not like something is out of proportion. At least I hope. You can tell me in the comments. About the skin tone, the redness, stuff like that. If you see redness, you can please tell me, because I don't see it. I have a pretty good skin. I never had acne. The skin tone, when I was very, very lean, I know there is this plastic look, but as I told you, naturals can get it. It's just that you're not supposed to stay ultra lean like that year round. So, I don't think it's a good argument to say I'm juicing. Also, muscle tone. I'm actually very, very soft. Muscle tone wise, because I'm extremely flexible, I actually have a few joints that are hypermobile. Yet again, I pass on that. And if you see redness, like oiliness, stuff like that, please tell me because I don't see it. For the body hair and the beard, beard-wise, I know I have good genetic. Body hair-wise, they are basically the same as men in my family. So for some of you, it might be considered hairy. For me, I don't know. I don't think I'm specifically very hairy. There is worse, there is less hairy. I have a few body hair right here that I absolutely despise. But other than that, I think my pilosity system is quite normal. For the hair, yes, I'm balding. I've been balding for like 10 years. They started to thin out when I was 21. It's in the family. It's basically almost 50-50. Men in my family on both sides, they either have great hair and they keep it, or they lose it around late 20s, early 30s. So I'm either exactly the same as other men in my family, or a bit more lucky. Again, I know that it can be suspicious for some of you, but you look at my fathers, uncles, stuff like that, grandfathers, it's not a strong point in the family. Sorry. For the unreal recovery, I've had guys that basically accuse me of being on some stuff because I'm doing full bodies, and the full bodies are 3 hours, and there is no way as a natural you survive a 3-hour training session. And again, I've been doing a shit ton of sport in my background years. I've been training for 13 years. If a 3-hour workout kills me, I wasted my time, you know? If the training is done properly and correctly, there is no way for you to not progress, whatever the split. Yet again, it can be a body part split, it can be PPL, it can be upper, lower, it can be full body. I just happen to love full body and I did it for years. Yes, at some point I was having trouble with recovery, but it was much more about the joint recovery than really like the muscle recovery. Even if at some point also that is not the best. But so like every athlete, you know, do you really think the guys in the silver era did full body their whole life? No, they tried a shit ton of things. I don't see how I'm looking unreal in terms of recovery capacity, because as a past athlete and as a high-level bodybuilder, of course I'm able to withstand a shit ton of workload. That's part of the, like, it's in your contract, you know. You want a great physique, you have to withstand a shit ton of volume and intensity, period. It is how it is. But yet again, I'm not training 6 days per week every day. I'm not eating half what I'm supposed to need, or I'm not eating like 7,000 kilocalories per day. Yet again, my size and what I'm eating is quite correlated, and I'm training 4 times per week. I don't think it's suspicious. In retrospect, I believe that I am into this 6 out of 10, you know, weird spot where some of you think it's suspicious, and I accept that. It's actually a sign of intelligence. It's okay to have your own critical thinking and like your own mind, you know. But I'm natural, and if one day I choose, I will just say it, you know, because the problem is not about juicing, it's yet again about honesty. To conclude, if someone is looking better than you, that does not mean automatically that this person is juicing. And before being like all mean and just throwing out insult on internet, thinking there is absolutely no consequences to you being behind screen and just throwing stuff like that, please think that first and foremost, you are speaking about a human being. And second, that you may actually be false and that you're just looking like a clown. Because you are. You who said that. But it's fine, you know, it's internet. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. We talk soon. Take care. Bye bye. And stay natural.